How's it going, everybody?
Hey, how we doing? How
Do-
are we doing?
Doing well.
Who are you?
I'm Sin.
Oh, hey man, nice to meet you.
Hey, buddy. We also have the UK perspective.
How are we doing? I'm here. I'm alive still.
For
Nice.
now.
For now.
For now, yeah.
Why is Fox's character not working? I must figure this out.
Listen, I had an aneurysm, okay? Just leave me alone. Like I'll get over it.
Hold on, I'll get this figured out here in just a second.
Listen, man, everyone has an aneurysm every once in a while.
You know, there's always some sort of technical problem with this one, I've noticed.
Yeah, so
Or the
like
third one?
it's the Bible. Like Discord really doesn't like the use of religious imagery.
So,
Hang on, we'll get you fixed here in just a second, hopefully.
Just like zoom in on the gnome doll if you can't. Like that'll be me. For
There
now.
we go. I got you in. You're in. All right. So, how's everybody doing? Real quick, Fox, how have you been doing, buddy?
I've been doing all right. Just like chilling out. Watched that new Spider-Man movie. That Across the Spider-Verse the other day. That was pretty fun.
That's good. I'm happy for you.
That's about it. I ain't been doing much otherwise.
Okay. UK, how have you been?
nice, actually. Talking of movies, I went to watch The Meg 2 recently.
Oh,
That right there is a movie. And that's all I can say about that one. That was a big waste of money.
Yeah.
But it is hard for me to watch because I got a phobia of the ocean, like being deep water. So I'm watching it, and like even though it's so bad, I'm like, oh my god, I hate this because it's in the middle of the ocean. But yeah,
Oh.
You ever-
you have fear of the ocean?
yeah, deep water.
I
I
don't
feel
blame
like
you.
you're the kind of guy who would really like that there underwater crafting game.
All right.
What's it
So,
called?
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can't remember what that crafting game's called. I know what he's talking about.
Oh,
Submarine.
Raft.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, there's Raft and there's also Subnautica, where you're out under the ocean, but both of them have to do with huge bodies of water.
That is true. I've never played Subnautica.
It's alright. Like, obviously, if you don't like the ocean, though, like, you wouldn't like it.
Okay.
There's a lot of big fish that'll, like, bite your toes, and you're like, get off. But they don't get off.
So, in today's episode, I want to talk about a recent video that UK put up. It's kind of what inspired today's stream. He put up a video called Why I Quit, and I figured I'd let UK kind of... he did explain it in his video, but I think that he kind of wants to kind of go over it again and, have like just like a nice little discussion. Everybody can hop in and talk about these things, and I don't feel like UK was trying to give any type of hate towards EO at all.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely, the video wasn't made. So I think one thing I need to stress is the video wasn't made to hate the game, and it wasn't even made in a place of like, oh look, I'm quitting Endless Online, like these are the reasons. I was mainly doing it to tell my community, like, hey, you shouldn't, because obviously a lot of people have subscribed and follow me for Endless Online, and I was just essentially telling people, hey, by the way, I'm probably going to be moving away from this content for a bit, or for the foreseeable. But then people posted it into the EO Discord. It became like, it kind of popped off a little bit, and I was kind of like, well, I wasn't making it as like a, what would you call it? Like a stand, like, oh, this is why I quit Endless Online, and this is why you should as well. It was kind of just like me letting my community know, hey, probably don't expect Endless Online content for a while because I'm going to be trying other things, type of thing.
Right.
And I needed to give like a brief, like I wanted to give a few brief reasons as to why. I didn't just want to be like, yeah, I quit by I'm going to upload other stuff. So I did try to keep it short. It took me a few times to record that video because I was like, okay, this video is 25 minutes long. This one's 18 minutes long. So I really condensed the video to like 7 minutes. Because
And
I couldn't go into super detail without like the video going into like 20 minutes long minimum.
right, and within the time that you posted it versus the time now, has there been any kind of things that you've noticed that you've seen that's changed within EO or within your community at all?
So I always get messages from my community. I think for the sake of the stream, and I don't want it to be a bashing thing.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, I will leave out some of the things I've noticed, but some of the positive things I've seen is, a lot more communication. Like since I posted that, it was actually like I posted that video and I'm like, look at all these like improvements that have happened in the last couple of days. I wish I could have seen this a little sooner, but maybe it took me making that video for them to happen. I don't know. Maybe they had planned to do these things already. I'm not sure. But there's definitely been improvements and different things I've seen from not just my community, the EO community in general.
Yeah. I honestly can understand where you're coming from. It is definitely a different game than what EO originally was. I know that also the XP thing kind of bothers a lot of people, and I kind of understand why he's doing it. There was something that me and Mace tested out in Sky Wonder, where we were both killing the same monster, but depending on if you're too high of a level or too low of a level, it's like the game's basically telling you you're not supposed to be here right now.
Yeah, so obviously that was the first point I brought up, and because for the sake of the video being short, I didn't go into detail as to why I thought it was a bad thing. Not a bad thing, just why I didn't like it, essentially. I really didn't go into like real detail as to why I don't think it's particularly healthy for the game and the player base, like EXP reduction and stuff, and I'm glad to see that he's taken a step back away from that. I don't know exactly what he's done. Obviously I've not been on, but I know I read the dev post and I think he does like EXP boost now for lower levels and then ×4, ×2 type of thing.
He's also
So I'm glad to see it's changed.
He's also added in a stat reset. I don't know if you've noticed that. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw the stat reset. That was another thing. That was something I spoke about on stream a fair bit. It was like, oh, we've got a lot of content, but we need to change our stats because, things are hitting crazy. People want to like test your stats, and people have put everything in power, not knowing what's coming next. So like people really wanted to change their stats, me included, right? I put points everywhere. My stats were a mess. I put points into defense, I put points into accuracy, I put points into power. Yeah, I was like, gee, my stats are crazy.
I really don't know where to put my stats at right now, if I had to be honest. So I'm just kind of like guessing as I go. But I get it. Like right now it's very different. And
I feel like with further updates, they're probably going to do another stat reset token, because right now we don't even have magic.
Yeah,
like really, it's like one healing spell and that's it. But I feel like people may want to use some magic at some point, as long as the magic's feasible to use. I want to say.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So obviously we've not got classes or anything as well. We don't have much magic. There's not all things considered. There's not many items in the game yet.
Right.
The ones that give stats anyway. So people are definitely gonna want to change their stats about, and maybe a new weapon comes out that gives you loads of like accuracy. So maybe people want to remove some points in accuracy, put more points in power when they get that weapon, etc., etc. So I'm sure he's gonna it introduce a system to reset your stats somehow, some way, eventually when the game is fully fleshed out.
Right. It definitely feels like I feel like the more we give it just a little bit of time and see where he's going with this, it definitely feels like a linear path at the moment. Which that's fine. I don't mind it, but I can see where everybody's coming from. It's definitely different than traditional EO and how it was. Like, you definitely can't just grind anymore. Or if anything, actually, there's times I feel like I have to grind more just to get something. And it's like now you gotta like prioritize. Like, am I gonna use this moment to get drops to make money, or am I gonna use this time to get experience? What am I gonna use this time for?
So I think one thing I do want to like go a bit more in depth as to why I don't like EXP reduction or level caps. So I'm just gonna start by saying, yes, I understand why there's a level cap in early access. Vult-r doesn't want people to, get to a crazy level and the content he releases is obsolete because people are level 50 and he's releasing level 20 content. I get that. So my logic of this was, so for the last 6 or 7 updates, we've seen alters like to EXP reduction and obviously the increase in level cap. So for me, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, this is something he wants in the game permanently because he keeps altering it, changing, and the level cap hasn't, like, it's just been increased. So this is something he clearly wants for the entirety of the game. So I'm not sure if that's something he actually wants, but the reason I hate EXP reduction, and I think it's not good for any Endless Online game, not just Recharge, any, is because you end up getting locked out of 90% of the game past a certain level. And I know it's used so higher levels can't steal lower level training spots, but we have channels, so that's a big combat to that. If there's too many people in one area, a new channel will open up. But also, I just don't think that's going to be a bigger problem as people think it might be. But let's just take my last level. I think I was level 22. There was literally 2 maps on the entire game that I could train on. The whole beach update was now irrelevant for me because everything I killed was minus 80% XP. And it's like, there's whole areas of the game now that it doesn't feel good for me to go to because I get EXP reduction. And you don't want that for your game because, you work so hard on these updates. That beach update must have took a long time. The lighting was good. The maps were good.
It was
bosses,
a beautiful map.
Quest. What a great update, right?
Yeah,
but
it really was.
I can literally only spend a couple of hours there and then, I'm already minus 40. Now I'm minus 60. Now I'm minus 80. Oh, now there's literally no point me being here because I'm getting 50 XP a kill, or I can go to a place like underneath the witch and get 400 XP, 500 XP a kill. So it kills your content for your players because if I say, Siin, do you want to go to the beach? And you're level 23, I'm level 22. Both of us are not going to have a good time because we're not going to be getting any XP. And it's going to be like, I guess we'll just have to go to these other areas that I guess are for our level, but we're locked out of so much content. That's why I'm really not a big fan of EXP reduction. I just feel like it limits the content at the higher up you go, and it just doesn't feel great. Endless Online for me, as I remember, was a game you could go anywhere and be anywhere, train anywhere, and it didn't feel bad to do it. Some areas didn't feel good to train, but if you wanted to train there was no, what's the word? Like no reduction or anything like that.
There wasn't any negative incentive.
Yeah, that's the right word.
I will say I totally agree with you on that, and I think right now what's going on, if I had to take a guess, this is just my personal opinion, not saying I know what Vult-r's thinking. Maybe at the moment things are just being balanced out because of creating future content, and Also, like, like the reason why the weapons are taking so long too is because, like, if you remember the traditional stats and balance of the old EO weapons, they're pretty terrible. They're bad. And I imagine
Yeah.
that's taking him a while to get all of that put into one. I mean, because I think right now, isn't he kind of doing it all by himself? I think he
Yeah,
is.
I don't. I think he's doing it all by himself. I don't think Angie. I might be wrong. I might be assuming. I'm not sure Angie does much. I think she's a community side, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure Vult does the majority of stuff, right? At least coding wise, I'm almost sure it's only Vult.
I think so. But no, I get what you're saying. Like, that's something that I kind of noticed whenever we were at Sky Wonder streaming. Real quick, Game Master Roy, I'm late to the show. Hey, you're fashionably late. That makes it even better. So I get it, cause like I'm gonna have to redo that stream, and now I gotta introduce Sky Wonder, and I'm gonna try to introduce the swamp as well. And
Oh yeah, the muck something. I can't remember what it's called now.
yeah, and something I noticed that I will admit I'm not a fan of is having to constantly buy tickets for traveling. That kind of feels a little, at least for now, because money's really hard to come by for me at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that as a poor person in the game.
Well, I mean, grinding for money is one of those things that, like, I've had a few complaints about on stream. Like, I understand completely, like, why, like, getting the money is the way that it is, because it makes, more sense in a realistic sense. But at the
Right.
same time, it's like, you have to rely on drops, and then you have to go and like sell them, and no drop in particular, besides like the chicken eggs, gives you very much money. Like, and the chicken eggs don't even give you a lot, because there are I think only 8 or 10 areas you can even collect chicken eggs.
I think
Are
so.
they 22 eons each? I think.
No, 20. I think it's 20 or 25 is what they sell for. But
Mm.
it's like that. But like those sell for the highest amount of eons that I've found in terms of drops so far.
I think
And I know killing things, like, you can kill like a ton of rats, but I think their tails only sell for like 3.
I will say I do see the direction what Vult-r's trying to go for, and I do think right now it's just like, man, it's just so early on.
Yeah.
Those of us who are playing early on, we're like, we're so ahead of the content that he's trying to release. But
I'm not.
no, I get it. I completely understand where you're coming from. It's
Uh,
go ahead.
I think with the boat tickets, something he could maybe do is make a permanent one that costs a bit more, and then you don't have to keep buying them anymore.
Yeah.
If he wanted like I just call it a golden ticket or something, a golden boat ticket or whatever, or someone suggested pirates dropping them occasionally, a rare drop, or I don't know. I don't know about pirates dropping them, but you could just make it so you pay a little bit more money for a permanent one if he wants to use them as a gold sink, because I understand that's probably the reason. Like,
Right.
oh,
I
if you want to
mean,
go there.
I would agree with the pirates dropping them, like maybe a 1% chance or something. Just literally, because like, getting the toy car wheels and stuff, like you could kill rats or birds all day, and it seems like, a few hours you're not getting one. So it would make sense for pirates to be able to drop them, because it's not like it would be broken. Like, you could kill 100 pirates and, like, you've only maybe got one ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand why they're in there, and I can see the frustration a little bit at the moment for people not like 300 eons. If you've got none, can take a little while, and if you want to go to the beach, it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to do something else before I can go to the beach. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, then also, if you die while you're there, that's another 300 that you have to pay to go back.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. You randomly get hit for a 90. It was like nice.
Real quick here, we got some comments here. Hey guys, hope your day is good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Josh. From Wishlock. Maybe a more expensive time-based ticket that expires after a certain number of days it may be helpful, especially since you need to travel back and forth and costs to add up the cost could add up fast. Yeah, something
No, that's true.
that expires over time would be cool.
Or a number of uses. I don't know.
What do you guys think also, like, as like a way to, if I was in Vult-r's shoes, which I'm not, thank goodness, but if I was, what actually let's just put it in everybody's shoes here. If you were in Vult-r's shoes right now and you have big content planned, but right now your players feel kind of constricted, what would you do as a developer to help alleviate some of that tension for the wait?
Do you want to go first, Fox?
I feel, well, I mean, right now, I will say, I think what he's doing is, because, he's been releasing the map updates. I don't think any of the maps that he's released are fully complete yet, because obviously you only have, like, 2 to 3 quest givers per, like, new map, which obviously, like, you'd want a lot more. But I think the level cap right now, and, like, a lot of the stuff, I can see that going away just because the fact that, like, he's kind of releasing content in a limited fashion. So I think it's more just a way to be like, okay, you've made it to, like, this next thing, so you can either wait or you can, do it however you want to do it. But I will also say that it doesn't alleviate much when you release one map and then somebody who can grind out, 30 levels in a day or two, like, you're not really giving them anything of substance to really change the experience for them at that point.
Right.
But also releasing it kind of now-ish, which I understand why he did. Again, like, it's been 20 years. You want to put something out there for people.
Right.
But trying to kind of concentrate on little updates just to be like, hey, yeah, like, this is all stuff that I still had planned. Like, when people can work through those little updates, it makes it difficult. But I think that's kind of where, if it were me at least, I would concentrate more on, like, the gameplay values at the moment, as opposed to adding more maps. Or adding, like, big map updates, I guess, is what I would say. Like, just, like, hell, expand the forest out a little bit. Like, that wouldn't be too difficult to do. Like, you could probably crank out, like, a handful of maps just for that in a day. And just, throw some enemies with bigger values in there for people. And then concentrate more on, like, classes or, like, a magic system or this or that, just to give people more things to kind of experiment or to, make other characters that they can go into and train it up and see how they like it.
Right. Real quick, I want to cut in from Game Master Roy. Yeah, anything, because my gold has been going down consistently since boats. Yeah, I get that. It has gone down.
Roy's a broke boy at the moment. Unlucky.
I'm a broke boy too. All right. So what about you, UK? What would you do if you were in Vult-r's shoes? What would you do to kind of alleviate some of the tension of waiting for new content?
So I'm gonna give him. I was speaking to a friend about this, and I'll have to give him the credit for the initial idea because it's a really good idea. But a big thing for me to alleviate a lot of pressure is communication. If people know how long they're waiting and what they're waiting for, you relieve a lot of people saying, when's an update coming? Why can I only do this? I'm at level cap, there's nothing for me to do, there's nothing for me to craft. Why have you done this? Why have you done that? A lot of people ask a lot of questions because they're just genuinely curious. The updates until recently, I'd say even recently, have been semi-random. Sometimes they can happen on a Tuesday, sometimes on a Friday, on a Sunday, on a Wednesday. It's beginning of the month, middle of the month, end of the month. So when you create this randomness of updates, people then just ask, right? Because, oh, it's been 2 weeks, there's no update. Last time the update happened in 2 days. Where's the update? So roadmaps is something that obviously I love, but maybe he feels like he can't make one of those yet because he's not there. But communication will allow him, it will relieve a lot of pressure off him from the community. Well, I mean, I feel like the community is very not, they don't have a lot of pressure on him. Maybe in DMs, sometimes global can get a little wild, but I think in general the community's been fairly semi-relaxed, I would say. But if he wanted to remove most of the pressure, communication is the way. A really good way to do this is have, like, we have message boards in game, right?
Mhm.
But you could have admin boards instead, where only him and Angie can post on them, and you know, people can walk around and it's like, oh, it's an admin board, let me check it out. And then Vult-r's posted on this date, hey guys, we're working on this, go check out the website, or I've announced something in the Discord, go join the Discord, or you know, whatever, just so people can go. Maybe have one in Stronghold, one in Avon, one in Sky Wonder, so when people are about, they can go and check these admin boards and see, oh, Vult-r's posted he's going to be working on something that's going to come out this weekend or next weekend. And it saves people going to the Discord, go into the website. Like, it just has all of the communication in the game.
Yeah.
Well, I think, yeah, just it's the communication. You know, you can take however long you want. Like, people are here to stay for the Endless Online game because people love the Endless Online game.
Right.
And I think he doesn't need to worry about people leaving the game, saying, you know, it's ironic coming from me, but I think the majority of people are here to stay. They just kind of want to be like, okay, well, what are we waiting for? You know, just let us know, what are you working on? Why did you change this? Why did you add, you know, more crafting materials to the dark robes? Like, for me, it's kind of obvious. It's like he's introduced more ways to get fur, so that's the reasoning. But on the patch notes, maybe include your thought process behind some of the changes that you do, and then the more information you get, the less questions you're going to get asked. It is that simple.
Right. I do think that it is important to add in like a roadmap on the site or somewhere where people can see it as public knowledge. Like, give us a roadmap of what you think will be the future for, say, like the next year or two for Endless Online. Like, just give me just a quick point, dot to dot, like, okay, I'm gonna release Swamp, next is this map, this boss, this system implemented on this time, stuff like that. I definitely do think that having a way where we can keep up with updates is definitely important, and it does look like he has been trying to do that a lot here lately, which is good. I'm glad he's doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot more updates. Dev posts are always good. You can utilize those. You can do it in form of a newsletter, like a weekly newsletter. And honestly, if I was to give, I guess if I was in those shoes, I would dedicate one day of the week, or you know, however much time he dedicates working on content, I would remove one of them and just have that as a dedicated day to, right, let's work on how I'm going to communicate. Let me write this newsletter. Maybe let me introduce this just to communicate with the player base, because it's that in the long run is going to far exceed new content being released randomly and stuff like that. Having that constant communication. And I know he answers DMs in Discord, and I know if you PM him in game, he'll probably reply. But majority of people are kind of like me, where it's like, oh, he must be busy, I'm not going to PM him, I'm not going to DM him.
Right.
So we just sit in the dark and we're like, okay, I'll just wait for an official announcement. And in his mind, he's like, well, I've answered 20 DMs to people, so the people not DMing clearly don't want to know, type of things. Like, we just don't want to bother you, type of deal.
Yeah, I definitely think that at least a public announcement, just giving some bullet point notes of what's being added in, would be fine. Like, I know you can do it within the game, the client itself. Whenever you start up the game, there's you can, the first screen that you see.
Oh, the welcome message, yeah.
Yeah, the welcome message. It shows you everything that's brand new, that's been updated or been patched out. I definitely think that's a good idea. I also think that another great way to keep your audience or your players informed on updates is add a patcher to the client. That way, whenever players see that the patcher needs to update, it's like, oh, okay, well, there's something new going on. What's that all about? And it gives your players something to look at and go, oh, okay, cool. They're obviously doing this. So it looks like they're trying to implement this kind of feature into the game. Real quick here from Game Master Roy. Since I got here late, I need to know, is TheUKPerspective still quitting EO? Also, not having update info is annoying. Always gotta check Discord or something. Volt casually said in global chat. I guess I'll let you answer first, UK.
Yeah, so right now I'm just going to be venturing into other content. As for what that is, I'm not sure. I've got a few ideas. But like I said in my video, that, there's a chance for me to return. Depends on how the game ends up. I feel like it is going in the right direction. Like the communication recently has been good. EXP has been changed. These were two of the things I mentioned in my video. So maybe in the future, but as of right now, I'm going to try and go a little different direction. It's kind of hard because Endless Online is such a unique game that it's not like a shooter game where it's like, oh, I play Apex, maybe I go and play Call of Duty or something. It's it's not like that. There's nothing where it's like, oh, I'll play Endless, now I'm just going to play this. It's a similar game. So as for what content, I'm not sure, but for right now, yes, I quit.
And when me and UK were talking about it earlier, just because he's taken a break from EO doesn't mean he doesn't want people to bash EO or anything. That's not what this is about. This is just more like, hey, taking a break, come back later and see what's new down the road. And I think that's kind of a good thing for anybody who maybe feel like they're a little discouraged at the moment. Just, it's early access, take a break, maybe go play some of the older servers again, kind of, help their numbers go up a little bit for a bit. These private servers, play them again, give them some attention. But definitely, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it's early on, maybe come back later, take a look at it and see if things have changed. Has anything new been added? Maybe you'll come back like, whoa, that's interesting. I didn't think that could be put into EO.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine there is going to be stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, one thing I always thought about in the beginning was a day and night system. I've wanted that ever since, and I've wanted to make a video on that. And look at EO now. There's a day and night system. And
no, that's it. Really good.
And then I made the video about balancing weapons, and I see that the weapons are actually being balanced out. Yes, there's some hard moments, like Shot Bob is kind of a jerk, but I feel like we did that on accident. But we kind of made Bob a jerk. I will say though that hockey stick is definitely worth the grab. It's a nice weapon.
How much is it again? 15,000?
Yes. I accidentally bought the broom, and then somebody was kind enough to give me the money back for the broom, so I can go get the hockey stick.
Nice.
It was not an easy grab to get. But like, what would you do if, say, after today, say you checked back within a month or two, and say EO took a change for the positive, like the things that you were talking about, like, there's news updates. Oh, hold on, before I ask that question, I didn't even say what I was gonna say if I was in Vult-r's shoes.
Yeah.
I just realized that. Okay.
You think of yourself.
I did. I was trying to think of you guys. Honestly, I thought about this for a minute. I know servers do this, and I know it's probably cliche at this point, but honestly, minigames are fun. And I like minigames if they're done right, if the prizes are done right, the rewards are done right. I think having mini games and prizes for players would be something nice to give back, since it's hard to feel like you got a reward in this game.
Just to clarify, are you saying mini games as in like capture the flag, or are you saying mini games as in like admin events type of thing?
Like, yeah, capture the flag, admin games. There's a mini game that we played in some servers called Chairs, and that's a fun game. Like, you're just having fun hanging out with the admins, and everybody's just, it's all random luck base, and it's just, if you're the last person sitting, you win a prize. And it's one of those moments where it's like, even if the admins aren't updating you, you're interacting with the admins. They're there, they're present in front of you. It's like, okay, these guys are chill.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think people remember Endless Online before as random admin events and like just random games in general, hide and seek and stuff like that. That's definitely a part of the old EO culture as well. So I'm sure the new community or the current community would appreciate it.
Did you hear that Amanda is on EO now?
I didn't. What, as an admin or just?
Yeah, as an admin.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yep.
there's your pixel artist. Right there.
Yep. So we have another admin added into EO. If anyone doesn't know who Amanda is, Amanda was originally Arvid. So
Would appreciate a little update on the website about that, maybe. Or the Discord.
Well, I mean, I will say Arvid is definitely known for definitely cranking out the authority. So
Yeah.
if Arvid sees, or we're just gonna say Amanda, if Amanda sees botters or someone hacking or whatever it is that they're doing, scamming, just being a jerk player, I know Arvid's gonna take action, or Amanda is gonna take action. So,
Oh, for sure.
So I do think that Amanda is kind of like the authority at the moment. I know Vult-r and Angie are as well, but I think Vult-r is just so focused on trying to develop that he probably is like, I need someone else to invoke the law.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Well, the more the better. You know, someone who can just be a community admin. You know, maybe pixel art as well. Who knows? But it's definitely probably needed, because global can get wild. But not even global. Like, I'm less worried about the toxicity, and I'm more worried about, the botting, the real world trading, and the speeding to some extent. The speeding I'm less worried about, but I'm more, because I know he's probably got a system in place where he records people who are actually speeding. I'm pretty sure it'd be fairly easy to pick up on if people are speeding or not. The botting, I'm not sure if you can fully get rid of that. There's AAA games that can't get rid of botters. So, I mean,
right.
It's, to say, oh, I want Vult-r to cure botting when Blizzard and grinding gear games and these AAA games can't do it. It's like, okay, it's going to happen in every game. It's just, I guess, how you handle it a little bit.
Well, the thing is about botting also is that people don't realize that it's like, as you create new software to combat bots, people create new software to make botting easier.
Yep. And there's some crazy software out there.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say that.
I honestly think that's like you had mentioned earlier, the channels. Why not create a special channel for botters? Its own botting channel. It's like the Wild West of EO. It's just nothing but botters there. They can't they can't sell and trade with other players. They're locked in this channel, just botting for the rest of their life.
I mean, go on, folks.
Oh, I was just going to say that, like, a thing about botting is that, like, I'm kind of two minds about it. On one hand, I understand it because, like, if you just don't have time, like, in a very grind-heavy game, but you want to make some kind of progress, it's either, like, say you only got, like, a few hours a day, maybe, to play, but, it would take, like, a whole day just to get, like, a level. Then I understand why you would want to bot, because, it's just you're not making any kind of progress otherwise. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like whenever you do bot, it just kind of makes the game like, it's like why even play it at that point if like, you're not actually playing the game. So it's like I'm kind of two minds about it, but I understand why people bot, at least.
Right.
Like when you don't have any kind of alternative and you don't want to spend money on something like, premium benefits, quote unquote. Not that EO does that, but I'm just saying in general. It's like, I get it. Like, do I think that it's like, fair in terms of like a game where you do have crafting materials and stuff that you'd make money botting? Nah, not really. But I don't know. Like again, it's one of those things. It's not perfect, but when you're dealing with MMOs and very grind-heavy games, it's hard to say. Like, for me at least, like if I really blame anybody.
Right.
Yeah, I think the botting. Like, listen, I'm not saying that it's the only reason people bot, but a good reason people bot is real-world trading. Being able to, I can bot for this, I can bot this crafting material, sell the eons and sell the eons for real money. It's a big problem in every game.
Yeah.
In most games where people bot, they also sell whatever they've botted for real money. It's a big problem.
Yeah, it's definitely like an issue. Like I mean, like that sort of goes into a different whole discussion that I'm not going to get into because that'll be a whole thing in and of itself. We'll talk about that later.
Real quick, I'm going to read comments here from Game Master Roy. He said, "Real world trading is real. I have received several PMs for money. With AI now, there can be an undetectable bot that talks back and everything. Big sad."
Yeah, like I say, it's a losing battle fighting bots, and I think the only thing Vult-r has on his side is the size of the game. So you have 250 people on, and X amount of maps, and then only X amount of maps worth botting on, or whatever. So he only has to check so many things. I'm also sure there's something on the back end he could probably check as well. So that's the positive of like, okay, he might be able to do it. Whereas like obviously bigger games have thousands and thousands of players. It's hard to see who's a bot and who isn't, type of thing. So he has that in his favor, but it's still a losing battle.
Yeah, it's definitely something you're not ever going to be able to fully combat. But I do know that he has been trying to study the whole botting thing. Like, sometimes it watches how many times you're doing a movement, or how many times you're moving your mouse, or how many times are using the WASD keys versus the arrow keys. The CAPTCHA bot that comes up every once in a while, the annoying CAPTCHA bot that everybody sees.
Yeah.
Along with, I did see this happen one time, and it is kind of funny. I was watching someone sitting there. It's obvious they were botting in front of this iron ore. And I just watched them for like a good 30 minutes, just constantly just in rhythmic swinging at this iron ore. And I, kind of recorded it, sent it to Vult-r. And he's like, yeah, no, they can't get that. That's not for them to get. And basically it was disabled for the bot. So
Unless
he is having fun kind of messing with botters from what I can see at the moment.
yeah, I think obviously go on.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I think obviously the last thing is I think a lot of people sway differently with real world trading. I think some people think, yeah, we're all adults now, spend money on what you want. If you haven't got the time, just buy it. And then you've got people who are like, no, you shouldn't be able to buy progression type of thing. You shouldn't be able to buy the best items, the best weapons, and even accounts. Like, you shouldn't be able to buy it. And I'm more with that end. I don't think you should be able to real world trade. It is, again, it's another hard one to, if I log on and give you all my items, Siin, for nothing, how do you differ that from me logging on and I've sold you all my items? It's a difficult one to really hone in on who is real world trading and who's just receiving free items. Now, I would say if you watch certain people's trades, it's very obvious they're real world trading, and I'm in touch with all ends of the community, and someone said to me he's already made over $1,000 real trading, which is crazy, by the way, for saying the server's only been out a month and a half, I think. So I don't know how you'd combat that. What do you think the best way would be to do that, Sin, Fox? I'm not sure, unless you'd have to go into detailed look in everyone's trade history, and even then, it couldn't be guaranteed.
One way that could combat this, and I may be overthinking this to where because I don't know the full ins and outs of the game. I only know just what I know trying to work on a server, and I still don't know all my limitations. I would make everything, if it's tradable, I would make everything lore. This stops trading from even happening. But if you want to actually do a proper, real, like actual in-game trade versus real-world trade, I would suggest maybe putting in like an actual auction house or a trading store for players where it shows what you have up for grabs and sell, how much you have of that item that is for sale, and there could be like either a trade, an actual set amount for the player to buy, and it does the transaction within real time, or there can be auctions for it for the highest bidder can actually grab the thing. Now this stops you from actually just trading it one-on-one, but actually having to give the person the actual amount that it's actually worth.
So you're saying essentially you wouldn't be able to trade unless you'd have to use the auction house? Is that what you mean? So you wouldn't be able to sell the item. I couldn't trade you. I'd have, if I wanted to sell it, I'd have to put it in the auction house. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So say like if you had like two Avon bows, and you're like, I want to sell it for the actual price that the Avon bows are worth, or the actual set global standard, you can put it into the auction house, and it shows that there's two in stock, and first come, first serve. Whoever gets it, gets it. I don't know how that would be worked out. Like maybe you want a list of players who do have open auction houses for stuff for sale, or if it's just friends only. I don't know how that'll work, but I think that would help out a lot with cutting down actual in-game or outside real-world purchases. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think, Fox?
I think the problem with it is that as of right now, it's not even like items necessarily that I think people are trading mostly. Like, because you can just buy the items in game. As far as like eons is probably one of the biggest things that people are like purchasing off of each other, because items like really aren't that difficult to get a hold of. Like, and again, they don't sell for very much, so like putting an auction house up for like items, it's like, okay, well, how much are they really worth if I can only bring them to a vendor and sell it for like 6 eons,
Right.
And then, you can pretty much buy most of the items that you would want, but, with some exceptions, obviously. But, like, I think the Avon bow in particular may be kind of a bad example, just because the Avon bow, you can just buy that from an NPC.
I mean, that's
But
true.
like say the tux, like I could understand like somebody selling the tux because they've just put a lot of time into making that, and that's going to be something that's a bit more difficult for someone who doesn't want to grind all those items out to get.
Oh, what I mean is like all items are lore, so you cannot drop them or trade them to anybody unless you put them into the auction house. Then it changes them to where people can purchase them. And obtain them.
I was about to get to that. My only problem there is that does kind of limit any kind of interaction that you can have socially with people. Because at that point, like playing with somebody, if it's a lore item, then there's no reason to really group up, because all you're doing at that point is having your experience, or quartering your experience or whatever.
Right.
So it kind of to me, it would defeat the purpose of how the game functions, because you don't get like quest rewards that are like say randomized like in some MMOs. Like, some of them, the whole point is that something's way, way too hard for you to beat by yourself, so you have to go with a party. But that's not really how Endless Online is structured.
I think he's trying to go that way, but I'm not sure. Like, the new bosses have been increasingly difficult to go alone.
Yeah. Like, but that's what I mean is that in terms of like, you need to consider what kind of game, kind of how you want it to be, I guess, because if you take out a lot of the interpersonal functionality, then there's not a whole lot of reason for people to interact with new people
Mm-hmm.
besides just like if you have some kind of an instance raid boss or something, because the problem is you could have a whole party, but the boss is only going to drop one thing, or he's only going to give out experience. So it's just, okay, I can either fight this with a group and then, get less experience, or he's going to drop maybe one thing and then we're all just going to have to fight over it. Because whoever gets the item off of a boss first, he's just going to leave the party and leave. Because he's like, all right, I got it. Bye.
Right.
Like, if he's, grouping up with people he doesn't know, especially. Like, if he's grouping up with friends, then yeah, they'll probably do that. But it doesn't really promote making friends. It just promotes more kind of loot ninjing. So it's hard to combat more so. I think that's why, like, Blizzard and all these other companies who run MMOs they don't even have an answer for it. Like, the UK was saying earlier.
Right.
Like, it's just so difficult to structure out something to reduce that kind of thing. The only thing you can really do is, like, at best, is look at a PM, like, maybe a PM bot that looks for, like, somebody trying to talk about real world money and just have it be an alert. But even still, again, I'm on the fence about it. It's like, if you have somebody who doesn't have any time but they have money, it's like, I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to go with the EA perspective of, like, some people have more time than money, some people have more money than time, but it's kind of true. But that's also where I say I just wouldn't play a game if I felt like I had to spend real world money to get anywhere.
Yep.
But that's just obviously like my opinion on it. Like, if somebody wants to spend money on something, like, you said, I guess go ahead. But I don't see the fun in doing it. But if they do, then I don't know. Like, personally, it wouldn't necessarily be a thing that would be on the top of my priorities because, again, it's just so hard to combat.
Right. Real quick, Game Master Roy says, "Volt, take our money, please." I mean, I would pay to see the development grow. UK, what do you think about this?
Yeah, like I say, it's a very real world trading. Literally, you can look at any game where trading is possible, and there will be a website selling items and their currency for a lot cheaper than anyone else can in game. So it's always going to be a thing. I think every game I play that has trading, you are able to buy gold or items on websites. It's just got to be a thing. It's the one thing I will say is something that will sort of dissuade people from doing it is very harsh punishments. So, this guy, without a shadow of a doubt, has been botting. Account permanently banned. A character deleted. That sends a very clear message to your audience and like your community. I'm not going to tolerate this, and I don't care who you are. If you cheat or buy money on my game or break the rules I've set, you are out. And I feel like a lot of community and a lot of servers are scared of this because it's like, I don't want to lose that, my player base, and if I ban one cheater, maybe 5 cheaters leave, but you would rather those people leave and have more real players than like just a bunch of people who are cheating and then also annoying the real players. And in turn, I think a lot of servers, I've seen this on a bunch of servers, not just Recharge, a bunch of servers, they're scared of losing the people who are cheating, so in turn they lose the people who are playing legit because they see the people cheating not being punished. So, and I've seen that on almost every server I've played. So I feel like very harsh punishments on people that you can say, yep, 100% this guy was botting, 100% this guy was real world trading, 100% this guy was speeding, his account banned or like his character deleted, like so that sort of thing, because then it really dissuades people from like, oh, I'm not going to do that because there's a risk if I get caught, my account is just gone, as opposed to, oh, you get a day in jail. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. I'll sell all my items. I'll spend a day in jail. That's cool by me. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to send that clear message. You're not going to tolerate it.
I wonder if there's a way to check to see the player's progress. Like, what did they... Is there a way for an admin to look at the player and go, okay, this is what they did, this is what they earned and they achieved. I'm just going to take that away from them.
Well,
and then put them in jail.
Honestly, I think trade logs would be the easiest thing. Like, if somebody trades like 900 cotton and like, you know, they did it Thursday and then they did it Sunday, it's like, okay, how the hell did you get a hold of that much cotton to like trade out to people that quickly? Like, that's definitely botting. And what did these people give you in return in game? Like, oh, they gave you one rat tail. It's like, okay, there's something fishy going on there. I feel like trading like logs would be about the easiest way to do that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Because you would know, like, you know, if somebody's making regular trades of like something really, really piss poor for a bunch of different things, then it would be really easy just to be like, okay, that, like that, there's no way that's legit.
So, like, what would you do? Would you just take away their items and also, or would you just shadow ban them, or would you just jail them for like, say, like a month and then take away items?
Well, the issue really with it is you could do anything you want, and here's where it becomes difficult. You could IP ban them, you could do like shadow banning. Shadow banning would be the easiest way to do it the first time, because someone will log in, they won't realize that they're in a shadow banned server, but they won't be making any kind of sales. They would probably get curious. They would start talking to people. Maybe people would respond and be like, you know, oh, like, yeah, no, I'm selling things too. They would learn eventually that it's a shadow ban area. They would delete the account, they would make a new one, they would just start botting again under a different account with a VPN.
Right.
So it's like it's a temporary solution in my opinion, because people would find out that that's going on at some point.
Right.
Like, don't get me wrong, it would be your most effective way of doing it, but, you know, you're still going to have people that are like, well, I made $300 doing this before I got shadow banned. In my opinion, that's worth it to delete an account, like make a new one, like use a VPN, make $300 more, then it just happens again. You know what I mean?
Right. Were you going to say something, UK?
Yeah, I just think I think currently right now, if there is a way, and I'm pretty sure there is, a way for Vult-r to check trade logs, it would be very easy for him to see right now a bunch of people who are real world traded. Some of them, like I say, at the moment, because there's very little to no punishment, people aren't, you know, oh, let me trade you this bow for this many eons just in case, just to make it look like a real trade. People at the moment are just being reckless with it. It would be so easy for him to find definitely certain players at the moment right now that have real world traded, and I would just use them as an example. I'd be like, right, okay, this guy a real world traded, his account's been deleted. Don't real world trade, guys. It's against my rules, and he has got rules, right? And it says one of them is you can't real world trade. And I would just use these people as an example. This guy has brought 100,000 eons. His account's gone now, and the 100,000 eons is also out of the economy because it's been deleted. I would just be super harsh with it, and that is really going to put people off doing it.
I agree with that, but I think you could add another layer to it. Like you said, you know, people could trade like things so it doesn't look shady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honestly, I think you could just add in like a trading value to things, that it's like, okay, like if you're trading this, the trade value has to be at least this many eons. So, you know, you assign a sale value to things.
Yeah, old school RuneScape used to do that, I think.
Yeah. So it's like if you assign a certain sell value, quote unquote, to your items for player trading, then it really gets rid of a lot of that because you literally can't, like, now resource gathering is still something that I'm sure people would try and do, but you'd still have to have the eons to be able to buy the resource from the person, or something of equal or at least like around the same value.
I just think with that, it's who makes the prices, because like, so old school RuneScape used to do that, and they based the prices of the Grand Exchange. So the average price of the Grand Exchange, I think it was like, you got a leeway between X and Y, but it had to be within this price range to trade. Well, it might not be old school RuneScape, but it might just be RuneScape that used to do it. So it'd be hard for Vult-r to get an average price range, because he would kind of have to go off global. Maybe he could develop a system where, okay, the crossbow has been traded 10 times and the price has always been between 60 and 80k. If you have to give a minimum of like 60k eons to someone to get the trade to go through, maybe.
Right.
But it'd be hard for him to do because he just doesn't have that. He doesn't have the Grand Exchange to go off, so he'd have to make a whole other system, and I do not know how long that would take.
Yeah, well, like, the whole system, like, really there's no perfect solution. Again, I think that's, just, again, why it's so hard to get rid of botting.
Yeah.
I want to rebuttal off that real quick, but Abe Link says, I agree, trade logs. And I do think trade logs is actually a good idea, because
I mean, that'd be the easiest way to do it, yeah.
If another system was implemented, say like, what if there was an actual in-game trade currency default set for every traded item, and you did have like an auction house type thing? Just hear me out. If trades didn't match the standard set, then it sends alerts immediately to the admins, the developers, like, hey, whoa, something's fishy here. These are not matching up the default trade system set in place. Do you think an actual system set in place for actual trading price should be implemented, or what do you think? Do you think yes, no? What would actually set off a red alert?
I think just, again, I think the main thing that you would do for it is just like, if it seems like there's just an ungodly number of things being traded for like nothing, then that would be the biggest indicator. And if that happens, it would be more of a red alert for like somebody's name gets flagged. So like, okay, they did this once. Like, once isn't really a bad thing, because, again, you could just be giving things to a friend.
Right.
But if it happens multiple times over a short time period, then, obviously it's like not an auto ban, but it's like, an admin can look at it and be like, okay, this guy's been trading a lot of items for like rat tails. Like, again and again.
The one thing I will say, which is probably preventing Vult-r from knowing this, is the time required to go through all the trade logs and, all the different people he may suspect. And I understand it'd be a time-consuming thing, because the last thing he wants to do is ban someone who is wrongfully banned, type of thing. Like, he wouldn't want to ban someone. It's like, oh, they actually wasn't doing anything. So, yeah. But he does have another admin now, which is Amanda Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think honestly, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like sorry.
I was gonna say real quick. I think also if there's maybe a trade limit, so say like the same user is trading the same user then this amount of times, sets off a red flag, and so it records the trade logs for whoever's in charge of checking the trade logs.
Yeah, well, that's all I was saying. Yeah, is just it auto populates a list for that kind of thing.
Right. So that way, it's not like they have to constantly check it all the time. It's just if there's a system embedded to where it checks trade logs, like say like user A traded with user B within the last, I don't know, 30 minutes, they traded like 10, 15 times, same type of pattern. Here's the trade logs that's been recorded within the last 30 minutes.
I think another thing as well is, if you was to look on, people who, let's say, flagged up, it'd be really easy, right? Because let's say me and Siin had a deal where I'm gonna, I'm going to sell him a tux or whatever. And the people at the moment are being very sloppy with it. I'm going to be real with you. But they log on. So we log on. I'm not even PMing you in game because I'm talking to you on Discord. I walk up, I trade you tux, I log off. So he can look that me and you haven't even exchanged a message in game. We've not even messaged in game. We're from different IPs, from different countries. And I mean, yeah, there's VPN, I guess, but it's like no communication in game whatsoever, and I've just traded you a tux. It's like that should be flagged up immediately, type of thing. Like, okay,
well, that's what I
weird.
mean. Well, that's what I mean by like it would have to happen consistently.
Yeah,
Like you wouldn't do it off of like, you know, hey, like he did it this day and then he did it like next month. It would be like, you know, the log would be generated, so it's like if it's weird, then obviously you'd want to go by like a 3-point system within a short period of time.
yeah, for sure.
It's like, oh, this guy acquired a tux, gave a tux to somebody, like, you know, Tuesday. This guy acquired a tux, gave a tux to somebody Thursday, and it was a different person each time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, there's something going on there.
Got a comment real quick saying, I'm late, gotta catch up. Basically, real quick, we're talking about things to help out with the current state of EO Recharge, the linear path that it's taking, its EXP rates, trade systems, catching botters, all those issues that's been going on lately in the game. But anyways, I'm sorry. Who's about to speak?
It was probably me, but I forgot what I was saying.
But no, I think honestly having a trade log notifier would be a really good idea.
I also see, like, just to, I guess, slightly off topic, is some of the other improvements I've seen is there's a feedback section on the Endless Online Discord, which is cool for people to post some feedback on. And I think there's a themes channel as well for people making themes. There's some cool themes that have been created. So there's definitely been like vast improvements since I've made that video. Not to say it's just because of my video, by the way. I'm just saying since I've made it, there's been a lot of good improvements.
I will say, I do think Vult-r definitely does watch the community. I think he does watch the YouTubers who cover EO. And I think it's a good thing he does watch. I do think it's one of those things where it's definitely going to be something that I don't know if we're going to get fixed anytime soon. Real world botting and in real life trading for money has been an issue for all these games, and it's definitely hard for a game like EO, which has been the same thing and out of date for 20 years. You know, it's just now trying to catch up to the real world. You know, it went from EO stuck in what 2006 to 2023 now. It's been the same way ever since. So, and it's bumping in volume too, like major volume. I've never seen this many players playing at once.
Yeah.
I mean, it like my last word just on the whole botting thing, like, because you know, obviously I think we like want to get off that topic, and we've been on that for like 20 minutes now, 30 minutes. But like, you know, because I don't really have that much more to say about it. You two might. I'm just gonna say, like, you know, my final thought on that is, I wouldn't prioritize it right now. Like, it's a problem, like, but you know, it's one of those things that, again, like, you know, what's the perfect solution for it? There is none. I don't even know if there's a good solution for it because it's just so difficult.
Right.
But if you prioritize that too much, then you're kind of like stopping yourself from giving anybody anything else really that's going on. But yeah, I think just auto-populated lists, like, if you wanted to worry about it, that would be the easiest way to do it, because then it's just look at the list like once a week, and you know, that's all you really have to do.
Do you guys think that also like reducing multi-clienting would also kind of help as well?
Yes, this was something else I didn't even go into my video, but this people using virtual machines and like different IPs and stuff like that to not only log on to one other account, but to literally log on to 6 other accounts to lock channels. I don't know how he stops that. The only way I can suggest is make it annoying for people, i.e. if you've not moved on an account for 5 or 10 minutes, it just logs off and there's no choice about it. But I know a lot of people wouldn't like that. But yeah, the multi-account thing is... some people have taken that to a whole nother level, especially with channels, right? Channels being able to be locked. So, you know, oh, there's 10 people in this channel, just a random number. No one else can join. People have taken full advantage of that and like, okay, me and 2 other people are going to come here and then bring 7 other accounts here. So it's just going to be us 3 and no one else can get our kills or anything like that. So it'd be interesting to hear his view on maybe a way he could potentially fix that or stop that. But again, I think a lot of this stuff is lower priority just because we're still in a beta test sort of thing. And I think the top priority is getting stuff balanced, communication, that's like a really big one, and just making a functioning working game. And then you can focus on the cheaters, right?
Right. Real quick, Abe Link says, just be aggressive with botting punishments, character termination, account ban, etc. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to be aggressive with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what the UK was saying earlier, is that, you know, the harsher the punishment is, the more, like, anybody who's thinking about doing it, who hasn't started doing it yet, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do that.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's I mean, if I was an admin, I definitely wouldn't want to do punishments because it's like, great, I'm coming off as a dick to everybody. But no, I do think that harsher punishments is necessary to put out a point that we will not tolerate this in our game. This is not how the game will be played. Well,
that's what it boils down to.
Oh, you sound robotic.
Sorry. Yeah, hang on.
We've got a bot live right now.
Yeah, sorry. I got turned into an AI. It's like just sometimes my connection fucks up. But no, what I think what it like that, you know, bottom line it boils down to is you have to make it like more annoying than it is profitable. Like that's, you know, bottom line for anything like that. You have to make it so that it's just not worth it to, you know, to try, because, you know, the annoyance of it or the negatives are going to outweigh the potential benefits.
Right. Real quick, as a joke here, Abe Link says, ban him! Ban the bot!
No, I walked into the other room to put my coffee cup away. Then, like, I had that point to make, but my microphone was like, eh.
Yeah. I feel like I had something I was going to say. Oh, I do know from talking to other developers on different servers that there is a way to actually mess with individual clients to where you can kind of mess with certain things like drops or NPCs that spawn for an individual player's client, which is kind of funny because in a way that's kind of a way to combat a bot. It would be confused on what to do, but I don't know how much Vult-r would want to do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be funny. That'd be definitely, like, if someone's botting and they're like, oh my god, I've been mining for 2 hours and not a single ore's been given to me.
Right, or they're like, man, I've been trying to kill this goat for like 20 minutes and I'm not even killing it at all. It's because the goat doesn't even exist.
Or their client turns into everything moves as fast as a chicken, so they literally can't kill anything. That'd be hilarious.
I do think it's funny watching people try to kill the chickens.
Those chickens, oh my god.
I'm so proud of those chickens.
They are so fast.
They are.
They were fast anyway. Then I was like, a viewer came and he's like, oh, I want to make a bow. I was like, yeah, sweet, I'll go and help you. They're just like speeding across the map. I was like, all right, okay, Jesus Christ. They're even hard to kill with a bloody bow now. All right.
Yeah, I don't even try to attempt to craft the bow or the arrows anymore. I just buy it. It's like, no, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna buy it.
Yeah, I got it.
But it looks like we had a pretty good topic here today. Is there any kind of final words that anybody wants to say to kind of wrap things up? Any final thoughts or opinions that you think that you would like to share before we call it an end for today's show?
I have one.
Okay.
The chickens are the reason botting's so popular right now.
The chickens are behind it.
Yeah, if it's so hard to get those damn feathers, think about it.
I do like the idea of fast NPCs because I see a lot of potential for a fast NPC. But yeah, the chicken.
I feel like it would be good to. I don't know if you could do this. I mean, the chickens already have like a special AI to run away from you. But I feel like there should be a, what do you call it? Some kind of a method to the madness of it. Like, there's a technique that you could employ every time to get a chicken.
Right.
But, it's still difficult, but...
I would like to see, like, NPCs interact with other NPCs or the environment. So say, like, if, like, a loud noise happened in the game, or, like, an NPC comes storming by, like, a giant orc or something, or a barbarian, then all of a sudden you see, like, birds fly out of the tree, or like the chickens are like flustered and they're running away. Kind of gives the world a little bit more life, like each NPC is interacting with certain NPCs in a way.
Yeah, that'd be good actually. That'd be really good.
But anything else that you guys want to say before we head out into that actually, you know what, I do want to say I kind of like this. I like having us on the show. If there's ever a time that you want to come back, UK, I think we could. Go ahead.
I think definitely for sure I'm going to be keeping in touch with the community. Obviously, I've enjoyed. I think a lot of people don't realize how long I've been part of the EO community. I've played Clone probably like 4 or 5 months after Clone was launched. I've played Endless Online, God knows, 2004 maybe. Not as soon as it got released, but like not long after. And I've enjoyed being a part of the community, so I'd definitely keep myself up to date with the updates, because it was a game I like grew up with. It's obviously going to be a game I love, and I think content wise he's going in the right direction. Like I've always said this, and I've said it is a good game, and I can't wait to see the improvements that he's going to do and the end result. And I think everyone can't wait, so I'm definitely going to be there for that.
Right. I'm excited too. I would definitely recommend for everybody, as my final word for the day is, yeah, it's changing, and change can be scary to some players. It could be annoying. It could be a direction that you weren't anticipating, or maybe it's something that just is a change that is still in the beginning development process of being something great. And I would say if you're feeling discouraged at the moment, take a break. Maybe try out another server. Like, these other smaller independent servers, they're kind of hurting in numbers right now, and no need to forget about them. You can always go back and play them, come back later and check EO Recharge and see, and come back and go, maybe you'll come back and go, oh, whoa, oh, okay, here's something new that I need to check out. This is interesting. And maybe you'll see a feature that's been updated where you're like, oh, okay, good. That actually makes sense now. That works better. Maybe you'll come back, you'll see a feature like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but maybe I'll help give some input on that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Like I say, everyone, you can play more than one server, fellas. You don't have to play one and die hard on it. You can play all of them. There's loads out there.
Right. And it's still a new server. It's brand new. We're seeing EO come back to life after 20 years, and it's being revamped to something brand new. So I'd say just, be patient. Check back if you need to. But all of you guys, everyone here today has brought out a really good, been bringing out really good opinions here. Real quick here from Game Master Roy. Nah, you talking crazy. I'm on the grind. I appreciate all of you for hopping in today. Everyone who hopped in the Discord, in the text chat for the YouTube chat, Heretic Fox, UK Perspective, you guys have been great. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks for having me.
A pleasure. And we'll see you all next time on SiinTV.